Commence primary ignition.
For Thursday, May 22nd, 2021, is the Serenno Squadcast, the official podcast of the Serenno Squad.
Okay, I'll say it real quick. Thursday is the new Saturday.
Yeah.
Did I say Thursday?
Yes, you did. I heard Thursday. It's fine.
Well,
just go.
It's all right because, who cares? We're gonna get through this. We're recording later in the week than usual, so we're. I didn't change the Thursday to a Saturday in my show notes, so that explains that. But welcome everyone.
Yeah, they're live.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Squadcast. We have a awesome episode this week. We're gonna go over a couple Bad Batch episodes, the last two. What was that all about?
Well,
Air
the last
quotes.
two before the last one.
Yeah.
Episodes 2 and 3, not episode 4.
Yep, we're going over 2 and 3, people. Don't get it confused. Last time we talked about 1, and it was awesome. It was a good way to start. It was long. Now we're back to the 30-minute episodes. And,
Yeah, 25 to 30 minutes.
Yep. But before that, we've got a little bit of Legion news. So.
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring him in when it does.
That is the 501st Legion.
Legion news.
Affecting you and your neighborhood.
So we do have one approval. It's a little slow in the last couple of weeks, but we do have an approval. So let's throw them up here. Let's see what we got. The approval of TB2618 for their Scout Trooper, specifically from the Mandalorian.
The Remnant Scout Trooper, I think, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
the Remnant Troopers.
Gotcha.
You can tell because his diaper is sitting pretty low.
Diaper, right. Now, is the diaper is that an all Scout Troopers? Is that what that is?
Yeah, the joke is the cummerbund in the middle is called the diaper.
Oh, yeah. Nice. It does look like a dirty diaper, but for the sake of it being an awesome costume, it does look a lot like the one of the 2 Scout Troopers from the first season of The Mandalorian.
Now, is the main difference like just physically how it sits, and then the knees are upside down? Is that right?
Yes, these are more weathered. The cummerbund sits very low. You have that gap between them. The knees are flipped. I think that's it. There might be something with the arm pieces. I don't know.
The Remnant Trooper, it's called that, I guess, because this is years after, or Remnant Scout Troopers, years after their...
The Empire has fallen. We're dealing with the Imperial remnants.
Right. So basically, they forgot how to... It's been so long that they just forgot how to put their knee pads on right.
Well, you remember the Emperor said his best troops were at Endor. And we know how that happened. The Empire has suffered several significant losses at this point, so you're not dealing with the A-plus squad.
This is all we got left.
Yeah, this is the F squad.
Yeah, is, yeah.
It sounds like we're dogging the costume, but we're not. It's actually an awesome costume. It's more or less the character.
Yeah.
But
the character he's doing it is done very well.
Yeah, it looks awesome though.
Yeah, I especially like the weathering. I like the weathering's a little different from the Return of the Jedi version. The Return of the Jedi version, the weathering is more like scorch marks. This is more like I threw it in the sand, and I like how it kind of builds up in the creases. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, he did a good job with the weathering. I need to find his weathering techniques because I'm going to need to do that.
Yeah, it looks pretty darn good. I've got the that little blaster, but I do not have the costume. I would like to print a helmet. Actually, you could probably print that whole entire thing pretty easily.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of hard armor bits. It's all from chest up mostly.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
If you do one, let me know, and I'll get one too, and we can build it together.
Oh, speaking of building something together, I do have a couple of parts for the B1 droid. His little dreadlock thingies.
The dreadlocks.
I don't know. Isn't that what you call them, Wayne? I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
They are a thing.
So, got those ready. That really didn't take that much time. Oh, there we go. Look, there they are. That's perfect. Every time we show the parts, you can demonstrate for all you viewers, YouTube viewers, you can see he's got an anatomically correct B1 droid. This is life-size.
So now you have 3 out of 300 parts printed.
It's anatomically correct, Paul. So it's serious.
Oh, the horrible things that are going on in my head right now, but I won't say because we try to keep this podcast PG.
Yep. Let's keep it that way. That was it for the approvals, though. As far as Legion news, we don't have too much news going on. Not that I know of.
It still exists.
We are all officially, as far as us four, we are officially vaccinated. Or we got both of our shots at least. I think I just got mine today. So what is that? It's like 2 weeks from today where you're considered to be in the clear.
I'm a good dog and I've got all my shots.
Yeah.
Tonight and tomorrow, you are going to be hating life.
Yeah, it sucks already. My arm is really, like, last time it didn't start getting sore so fast. It got really sore really fast.
Which one did you get?
Which vaccine?
Yeah.
It wasn't Moderna, it wasn't Pfizer, it wasn't Johnson & Johnson.
And then it was a ripoff because
just
from a
kidding.
dude in the back alley. Did you give him money?
I'm just kidding. It was a Moderna. Both Moderna. Yeah.
Don't make any plans for tomorrow.
All thanks. Yeah, I'm not. Thanks to CVS Pharmacy. You know.
Good job.
Number one.
CVS.
Rest, ibuprofen, and fluids.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know if the ginger beer is good, but it's what I'm drinking right now. It's not.
You could do worse.
Non-alcoholic.
I got my vaccine in an abandoned school in Blue Ridge.
From a guy named Jerry.
He did charge me a lot, but I thought it was a deal. He only charged me $300.
Oh right, yeah.
That was per arm though. He did both arms. So.
And one in my knee. I don't know what that was all about.
Yeah.
Your adventuring days are over.
I really hope that was.
I used to be an adventurer like you until I took the vaccine to the knee.
Yeah, so what that leads to is the fact that we will all be able to get back together, and it's like a reunion. We only had one stinking, recording in
around Gunner's dining room table.
Yeah, man. I thought that was going to be it, but you know what? We got bigger, better things ahead of us. If you're watching, you can see the future couch on which
big brown couch.
Big brown comfy couch.
I need to work on some of these decorations, but also I have nowhere to actually mount mics and equipment.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We'll get in there and we'll start throwing stuff around, tossing stuff out your window. We'll make room, punch holes in the wall if we need to. We'll get it.
Make sure we never come back. Nice.
Oh, we got to come back. We got to come back every 2 weeks. That's what you got to prepare for.
Not if you do that to her house. You ain't gonna go.
We could take advantage of it though. We could do dinner and stuff like that. I don't know.
Dude, make it all fancy.
Well, yeah, we could make it all fancy too.
You'd have to change the name of the podcast to Dinner with the Squad. You get a lot less better mics, so you don't have to listen to an hour's worth of.
Yeah. We'll have a whole nother channel for that. That'll be a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it's our ASMR
Yeah,
channel.
it's somebody's kink. So yeah, it's fine.
No, thank you.
Fat ass
So
slurping cheeseburgers.
so yeah, that's some really good Legion news we got there for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Moving on to our next segment, though. Top story.
Excuse me, that's the wrong franchise.
I think I don't care.
Episode 2, The Bad Batch.
Yes.
Uh,
Do not remember the title.
Cut and
I don't
Run.
remember the episode, so
The first episode was Aftermath, and the second episode is Cut and Run.
That's right.
Yeah. And this one, we actually, so because of, the whole weekly releases of the Bad Batch, we kind of were thinking we would be doing weekly episodes, but the way that some of the episodes have, like this one, for instance, this was a slower episode, and a whole episode dedicated to this would have been, well, we could have talked about it, but we just thought maybe we would wrap up 2 in 1, and that's what we're doing here today. We might jump into weekly recordings, but for now, we're gonna just go over these second and third episodes. So yeah, what did you guys think of, like in general, without spoiling this episode? Do you agree that it was kind of?
But,
Yeah, we're going to. But do you agree? Do you think it was kind of a slow episode?
it was a slow burn, but I wouldn't call it slow.
Right. Slow
it's
burn.
giving more world building as opposed to just straight up action. There was action.
I think it definitely is building the the beginnings of the Empire, the Galactic Empire, and stuff like that. As far as the occupation and all that good stuff. Well, not
chain codes.
Yeah, chain codes.
Yeah.
Not being able to travel, all that stuff. That's kind of what I got a lot from this episode, and I think the reason I considered it to be kind of slower is just because I'm thinking of this as, I think, Evan, you described the Clone Wars as being, kind of for kids and being super fast paced and a lot of running around and blowing up stuff. And this one was not as much of that, and it was more of that world building that, Paul was talking about.
If I said that, then that's very smart, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, just take the credit. Come on. What are you doing? So, so what? They're flying for, I guess, refuge.
Yeah, so at the end of the first episode, they're officially on the run from the Empire. They escaped Camino, and when they're leaving Camino, they say, we know where to go, and they say J-19 or something like that, which is the sector that has Seleucami in it.
Seleucami. That's the planet?
Yes. Seleucami, if for those you don't know. In episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, during the Order 66 sequence, is when Stasa Lee dies, the one who's on the speeder bikes. That's that planet.
I get that planet and Felucia mixed up, I think.
Wow.
They do kind of look similar.
Felucia, obviously more like, more like like plants and crap,
Yeah, but they're both they do kind of look similar, especially the animated versions.
Gotcha.
But yeah, and I love that we've now reached the point in Star Wars where we're like, hey, you remember this Clone Wars episode that aired 8 years ago? We're going to reference it. Hope you remember what happened.
And specifically, what episode are you talking about?
So this episode was based around Cut Locane, who is a clone trooper who deserted after the Battle of Geonosis. We met him in season 2 of Clone Wars in the episode The Deserter. In that episode, Rex gets injured when they're chasing down Grievous. and the clones stumble across his farm, and Rex stays there the night while he's healing from his injuries.
I didn't remember. I remembered that he was a deserter, but I didn't remember the circumstances. Like, why did he desert after the Battle of Geonosis, or even how did he desert?
If I remember correctly, it's that there's no book or comic or anything like that tells the story. It's only in that one episode. It's just him. I believe on Geonosis, his whole company was wiped out except for him. He was the only survivor, and it just kind of like he had the futility of war and life is more precious, and he's like, nope, I'm done. See ya. And he ran away.
Aren't the clones basically programmed with like not being able to make that choice?
For the most part, but they are still people with free will. They just have limited.
I guess if something so terrible happens, it could, because it's less of a, they call it programming, but it seems more of a suggestion. So maybe if something so terrible, it overcomes that suggestion that's implanted into your mind, and you can overcome that.
Yeah.
Well, what happens? I mean, when they come out, yeah, they're bred as soldiers. You know, they're got a specific mindset or whatever. But over time, each one does his hair different, chooses a name or has a name chosen for him. It goes by that. Like, each one has their own personality. So it starts from there. And
it's entirely possible. Maybe he was a defective clone. Maybe he was only 99% good, but he passed all the tests. So,
be a good book.
There's some backstory.
Yeah, I would love to hear a story from his point of view, from like what happened to him on Camino. How did he meet the woman? Pretty safe to assume those are not his kids.
yeah, they are.
Biologically.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I mean,
look the way he does.
Heron Kanan had kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks a lot like their son.
Unless those kids grow very, very fast, that's not his kids.
That's true. That was only a few. That's true, because the Clone Wars was only like 3 years long. Yeah. Okay.
That was season 2 of the Clone Wars, which is like we're within the first year.
Hey, the species can grow fast, just like old Grogu can grow slow.
So.
Yeah. Moving
Logical.
on.
But yeah. So, and it seems like apparently word of him spread, because he's there. They show up there like, okay, we're on the run for the Empire. Rex had been there on the run from the Empire. So apparently he's like the first stop on the clone Underground Railroad. That's probably offensive. I shouldn't say.
I mean, it's kind of like,
I get the context. I get it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's so you can understand why he's like, you know what? I think it's time to move. It's not going to be too much longer before the Empire comes knocking at his door.
It's
there was one thing I noticed in this episode. I actually just thought of, when do they hit the point where they start replacing clone troopers with uniformed officers? Because like, if you notice, like, I mean, we'll get into it later, but a lot of the clone troopers that you see later in the episode, those are duties that a typical, like, your staff officer or line officer would do later in the trilogy. Which I think is kind of interesting. They don't just fully replace the clone troopers with just stormtroopers. They replace the clone troopers with stormtroopers and line officers and warrant officers and Navy troopers and all sorts of things. It's much more diverse. The Empire is so much more diverse.
I would think that would come later, as they kind of, because this is like, I mean, we're just in the days and weeks following the end of the wars. Things are a little shaky still. So probably as things settle down and the Empire has a bit more control and power, I would think.
I hope the show spans over a long period of time, so we really get to see that progression rather than just the snapshot right at the aftermath of the war.
Yeah, because I was thinking the other day, we don't know what happens to the Bad Batch. These characters are brand new. We no mention of them. We don't know what happens to any of them. So we have a prequel series where we don't know what happens. So I mean, we don't know who lives and who dies, and this show could run for years, or it could be like, nope, 2 seasons, we're done.
Yeah, the Bad Batch was actually in the Golden Books Clone Trooper book.
Yes,
every
I picked that up the other day.
Yeah, every page they had like a whole page for each Bad Batch character. They didn't have Echo, I don't think.
No, I think it was just the 4 originals.
But it did have the defective clone and his family in the book, which I thought was interesting. Because I got the book before. Was it before? I think it was before the second episode aired. So I was like, holy crap, those are the characters from the book. But the family, they try to basically get off of the planet there, and they find that the chain codes needed, they got to steal them, right? How do you get chain codes now?
Well, you have to. Well, for everyone else except Cut, it wouldn't be a problem. They would just walk up and be like, "Hey,
he's a defective clone, though."
But yeah, he's a defector. Well, not a defector.
Yeah.
That. I keep wanting to say delinquent, and I know that's not the right word.
He's AWOL.
Yeah, he's all these things. There's just a better term what we can't think of.
Anyways, that's gonna bug me. But moving on. Yeah, he's basically on a wanted list. You know, as soon as they scanned his DNA, they're like, "You're a clone. Why aren't you in armor? Why are you know? If you didn't execute Order 66 and you left the military, guess what? You're gonna die."
Deserter.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
It's almost like that was the title of the Clone Wars episode.
I'm pretty sure I just got it from my subconscious about 5 minutes earlier when you said the word.
If you hadn't, all of us at like 1 o'clock tonight would just sit up there. Deserter.
Yeah. Anyways, good job, guys. We did it. He is a deserter, and so at this point, the only way is to steal the chain codes, and I guess they Echo has that experience from being hooked up to all those. He basically is like a chain code himself, right? He's RoboCop.
He
can get into anything.
More machine than man.
But he's got like all the codes, right? He can like access things that no one else can, other than maybe like an Imperial droid, maybe. Yeah,
he can kind of access things like a droid.
And that's exactly.
Droid with emotions.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have that many.
He's General Grievous with a face.
He's pretty. I don't know. He doesn't let his emotions get in the way. Echo is, dude, and even though he's been like hooked up to machines and stuff, he like still fights and like is fast and is strong. It's like you'd think he'd be all weak and stuff after that. In these last couple episodes, he's been kicking butt.
He hit the gym.
Yeah, he did hit the gym. And
so iron with his one working arm.
Yeah, man, does a good job. So they get the codes, but oh yeah, we kind of skipped a part that doesn't really seem that important, but it's kind of important to the story. Omega, our new favorite character, she has she meets the family, Cut's family, and they kind of play like a game of kickball or something like that, and not, I guess, trying to be brave or whatever, is she tries to go after the ball after being told it's too dangerous. And so she kind of gets fussed at, and she's all upset. And so she goes up on the ship by herself. And that's when Tech and Echo get the plan, or I guess it was Tech that had the plan to.
Just like, hey, I'm just going to get the ship and pound it.
Yeah, let's go. And then, of course, not knowing that Omega is on the ship. So, but it gets to a point where They have like they have to get past all these guards and stuff, and they have no way to get past, and they would be recognized. So Omega, before they can even think about it, she runs off with the codes, and ultimately that's how they get the codes, because they're kind of like treading water there, walking around the city, trying not to get noticed. I'm cut in the rest of the Bad Batch.
So that's what kind of, it seems silly. It's like, okay, the rest of them, all of them except for Hunter, they don't really look like clones, so they can, and they don't look like a normal clone, so they kind of blend in.
Yeah.
Hunter has half his face tattooed with a skull.
Well, does the
dude
Bad Batch
stands out in the crowd?
Does the Bad Batch have a reputation though at this point amongst like the rest of the galaxy? And
Yeah.
But if they're one of the most wanted people in the galaxy, you know, look for the dude with half his face tattooed. He stands out. You can't blend when half your face is a tattoo.
That's true. That's true. It's hard to get away from that one. But they do manage to deliver the chain codes in time. They're board of transport, and they even tried to set it up so that Omega could go with Cut in the family and have like a normal kid life, whatever that means, a normal kid life in the new imperial, the Galactic Empire. But I guess they decide to let her have her own choice, and she decides to stay with the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
And that was
surprise.
Yeah.
Yep. That was episode 2, Cut and Run.
I was definitely getting some 11 from Stranger Things vibes from her.
Oh.
Yeah. She definitely seems mystical somehow.
Yeah, there's something about her we don't know yet. There's
I
a
have
reason
feeling
for it.
I know what it is, but I can't say. So.
Did we talk about, I guess the last episode, how she kind of like, it almost seemed like she was able to read, like, or not read,
Crosshair, yeah.
Yeah. Did we talk about that?
Before he went off and did everything, she kind of said, like, it's not your fault.
Yeah. She like knows, like,
that's
something.
definitely going to come back around.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I didn't really get anything from this next episode other than I thought it was kind of weird that she took her head dress thing off. But I don't know if that was just like now she's a part of the Bad Batch thing, or she's like embarrassed or what. I don't know what that's all about. But
she's no longer that person. It's her growth and change.
Okay, there you go. It's like a rite of passage. I gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to the next episode 3, Replacements, which is
this one had some crazy stuff going on.
Yeah. So talk about a light episode jumping to a really, really heavy episode.
Super dark.
Very dark. My jaw dropped towards the end there, and I was kind of looking over at Hannah, and I was like, "Oh my God, Disney is not holding back."
We took a flamethrower to civilians.
Yeah, it was a lot more than that too. It was bad. But
we shot that dude point blank.
Yep. Okay, we'll get to that. So what on earth? I hear a bunch of beeping and stuff or things. What is going on? Okay. So what is that? Is that my computer?
I am not hearing anything, so I'm going to say it's all you.
Is there a droid under your desk?
Bling.
Are you getting messages?
There it goes. It did it again. It's okay. I guess it's just going to keep making that noise, and I'm going to go insane. So the next episode starts off with so as they were leaving, I think they got chased out of the planet, right? Didn't they get shot at?
Yeah. They had kind of had to shoot their way out of the spaceport.
And so the next episode kind of begins with them all beat up, and they're
the ship is damaged.
And so they land on like a moon somewhere.
Yeah.
Or they fly to a moon, and I guess they're just there for a little while, and then some crazy dragon creature comes and steals a part.
Yeah, it steals the power coupling because it wants to eat. It wants to eat batteries.
The moon dragon, the
Yeah.
moon dragon. That's totally normal.
Delicious. Yeah.
So I guess they are they're going out to try to find this thing. But also at like the same time, it's going back and forth between the Bad Batch on the moon, and then you've got Tarkin and this kind of new younger guy under Tarkin. What is it? Rampart.
Yeah.
For when he showed up in this episode, for a split second, I thought it was Krennic.
Oh, okay.
Only.
Yeah.
And then like they
Could
said
have
his
been an
name or he did
animated
something.
credit,
Oh, it's
yeah.
not him.
Yeah.
So close.
And so he puts Crosshair in command after, I guess, seeing that he has this.
Well, Tarkin wants to start getting rid of the clones and start conscripting people.
Right, because it's kind of cheaper and faster, and
yeah. And there's an interesting thing that's in this episode it kind of points out why people join the stormtroopers, and kind of one of the ways that the Empire is kind of ingratiating itself with people, because the one dude says,
incentivizing.
Yeah, the one dude says, he's like, before the Empire, the Empire gave me what I didn't have before, which was money and a job,
and so a roof, shelter.
Yeah, that's what the Empire is doing, is being like, hey, come here, we'll give you a chain code, you can change out your credits, we'll give you a job, we'll give you some money.
You can go to college.
He specifically said it was more than what the Republic ever did for him.
Yeah. We're somewhere better than this old corrupt Republic. Yeah, so I thought that was just really interesting to see, kind of one of the ways the Empire was getting in with people, right. Kind of how you get people to join.
Yeah, it's really like the inner context of the Bad Batch series is where we're getting a lot of these answers for questions like that, like how did all this start, and who was there in the beginning, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean the Empire can only be the evil mustache twirling, bad guys for so long. But if you hold the microscope to them, it nothing really pans out, because especially in a series as complex as Bad Batch and the other stuff we're getting, like you have to make something. You have to add some story element where the Empire makes sense somehow. It just can't be like, oh, we're evil, and then it's like, well, why did people want to join, and why did it last so long, and why were people okay? All of the trillions of galactic citizens, they somehow are okay with going from this, great sort of decadent but okay government to this evil power with the mustache twirling evil madman at the top. So I like that they're adding some nuance there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's much needed, and I think that's what's gonna make all the really hardcore Star Wars fans watch it as if I think the Bad Batch could have just as much of an audience as the Mandalorian, maybe not on the same scale, just because the Mandalorian was so huge, but as far as like adults watching versus just kids, I'm sure there are just as many adults watching this show, because it's doing more than just entertaining kids. It's filling in a lot of those stories. Just really awesome.
I think Bad Batch really strikes a really good middle ground between like fairly simple to understand stories, but also some really adult themes. So like it doesn't feel like you're sitting down and watching Game of Thrones, where it's just mind-numbingly dark, but it also doesn't feel like early Clone Wars where it was just like light and silly and whatnot. Like I think it does to me it does just as good a job as the later Clone Wars series of really striking that balance.
Yeah, it's almost like the same team worked on it, knew what they were doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, it
Well, I
couldn't
like
be.
that.
But yeah, it's not all just black and white, and that's what this is showing us. It's showing us a side of the Empire that it's like this is how people were, like you said, Paul. Like so many people were okay with this new Empire. It's because they were, telling people they were going to help them. They were going to do that. I mean, it's almost like a change between like Republicans and Democrats for us. It's like, a bunch of people are going to be unhappy. Although I don't know if either of our parties are as evil as the Galactic Empire, but sometimes they could be.
It's an interesting parallel. So we're watching Handmaid's Tale right now, and we just finished the first season, but there's
okay. I was about to ask because they just released the newest season.
Yeah, so we just finished the first season, but there's one of the handmaids. Obviously, it's super brutal and dark, and they're basically all slaves. But this one handmaid is like, "Don't screw this up for me." Before they came in and gave me a purpose, I was a drug addict. I was homeless. I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff on the streets for money. And then these people came and they gave me a purpose. They gave me a home, a purpose in life. So it's sort of interesting that like, we can see like this just awful, terrible, evil government, but there are maybe some people who are just at the absolute fringes of society that were able to make it work.
Yep, there's two sides of a coin, but that's good stuff. The Handmaid's Tale, shout out everyone! Stop watching and go watch Handmaid's Tale.
Jen watches it. I'm like, I know it's probably a good show, but it's like, it's a little heavy.
Yeah,
it's
up there.
It hits a little close to home sometimes, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, back to Onderon. We find that that the new, I guess, Crosshair is kind of rounding up his own little his own crew or his own unit, and he decides to go out.
They're told to.
Okay, so who is telling them? Is it Tarkin that's giving these orders?
It was Tarkin. Basically told them, go finish what you guys were supposed to have done in episode 1.
Gotcha. So they get there and Guerrero's already gone.
Yeah.
But there are other like civilians there who are
yes, there are civilians that a few people from Guerrero's crew are there protecting and trying to move and do all that stuff, and things don't work out so well for them.
Yeah, it's very brutal.
Things get very warm.
Yeah, so from let's see, how does it even go? I mean, they show up and he, like you said, Paul, he shoots a guy point blank, and who won't give him any answers.
They go in there and they're interrogating people and trying to just that stuff, and they get the order to basically kill everybody who's left. One of the new stormtroopers says, "I'm not doing that. I'm not, killing innocent civilians." So Crosshair shoots him in the face.
Yeah. So, well, even before that, he asks the guy, and he won't give him any information, and he shoots him, and he says, "We're not an execution squad." And he's like, "We need to take him in for questioning."
Yeah.
And then that's when he turns to him and says, "There's a reason they put me in charge." And then
he does the good soldiers follow orders, and
then tells the rest of the unit to finish. Yeah, and that was probably the most brutal part was following that orders, and then just basically instead of leaving it open-ended like, oh, we don't know what happened to him, it was like, no, they all died.
Yeah,
they all died. This is serious. This guy is bad, really
Well, it's
bad.
not just that they shot him. The one dude has a flamethrower and he turns it on.
Yeah. They also have I'm pretty sure they have the blah 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 that rotary cannon, right, Wayne?
Maybe.
I think one of them had a rotary cannon.
No, he had a flamethrower that looked like that.
But I thought someone had a flamethrower and I thought they had two, and I don't think they had two flamethrowers, but I don't know. I could be wrong. But
rotary cannon seems like it might be overkill for killing civilians.
the flamethrower? Are you kidding me?
Because you haven't tried it yet.
I
Depends
think
on the
it was
number of
there.
civilians,
We're gonna have
though.
to go back and look at that. I think it was there.
I
Either
would
way,
know. There was a guy that was supposed to print me up a trigger, like just a trigger for it, so I could get mine
it's not
working.
just a trigger. We
and-
gotta edit that thing, and I don't know what we gotta do to it. Hey, you know what? It'll be perfect when we can get back together, record. We'll have the computer and everything there, and we can be there in person, and we can take care of it. Yeah.
I'll get a whole new set of excuses. Yay!
Exactly. So yeah, it's pretty serious, this episode. They get pretty dark, and even after, but there is a little bit of hope, because when they get back to the cabin, you see Crosshair look over and he sees, I'm pretty sure it was Wrecker who was marking the days.
He sees all the remains in their bunks.
In their old cabin, yeah. And so he goes back and sits on his bunk, and you can tell it's weighing heavy on him. And
he's kind
something's
of
up. Yep.
Fighting his programming a little bit, or he's.
Yep. So there is a little bit of hope, which I'm so glad that they did that at the very end of the episode, because it was such a dark and heavy episode. But we kind of skipped the second story, the actual story with the Bad Batch and Omega. They're walking around out there with these special, they got to go get that part, and they have these breathing masks on, these respirators. And what the heck happens out there to Hunter? He just gets incapacitated. What happens? I don't even.
He's
knocked out.
Yeah, he was fighting the lizard thing, wasn't he?
And it just knocks him out. It wasn't poisoned or anything like that.
No, he knocked his mask off so he couldn't breathe.
Okay, gotcha. So basically, you have Hunter there, and Omega decides to step up and take his blaster and go find that part, which leads her down into like a little, like a tunnel, like a meerkat tunnel or something, and crawling around until she finds this thing. And I guess she figures out that it doesn't like light.
She can see all the little bits all around. And she can tell, like, when she turns on the flashlight, it attracts its attention, and she figures out that it wants to chew on batteries.
Right. Well, they say it at the beginning of the episode that there are these creatures that suck off of energy.
Yeah.
So they do tell you that at the beginning of the episode. But I wasn't really thinking about it until, you see that it starts eating the flashlight, and it's like charging.
Yeah, it starts glowing.
Yeah. So that was cute. Didn't have to shoot it.
Yes.
Got the part. Hunter is he's the damsel in distress, and Omega is there to swoop him off his
Omega
feet.
saves the day.
That's right. Omega does save the day. That was a great episode, though. It was super heavy. It was super had a lot of context. So did the first one. Actually, the more that we talked about the first one as we reviewed it, I realized they're pretty equally balanced as far as like you know, what new stuff and content and stuff. So it was good. That was good.
I like that with Disney Plus, a lot of people are going now and exploring the animated series. Like a lot of people didn't watch Rebels when it first aired because it aired on a weird channel at weird times. It was hard to find.
Was it on Disney XD or was that Resistance?
Yeah. No, it was on XD, which was not everybody had access to. And, you know, it was one of those things that always changed the time slot. And a lot of people didn't watch Clone Wars. So I like that all those things are available to people now and they can go back and watch them. And
Clone Wars kind of had a stigma early on where it was like, oh, this is like the Star Wars kids show. Like that's what I thought when I was, you know, Clone Wars came on right when I started college, and I remember my mom bought me a Clone Wars, like it was like a shampoo and body wash set, and it was like it had like little Yoda. It was clearly for kids. So that was literally my first exposure to the Clone Wars series, was this like dumb soap kit that was clearly for children. So for many years I just assumed that Clone Wars was just like a kid show, and I never really gave it a second thought.
What do you think about Clone Wars? Oh, you mean the soap show?
Yeah, I love that body wash, but I've never seen the show.
Yeah, whenever I first heard about Clone Wars animated series, I had seen the Samurai Jack style animated one, and I liked Samurai Jack, but for some reason I didn't, because I was just used to seeing that was the first. Wasn't that the first, other than like Droids and the special that we had? A cartoon.
It was Ewoks.
Yeah.
Ewoks, yeah. So
it was the first thing since the 80s.
I didn't care for it. I didn't buy it. And so for years and years and years and years, I kept hearing more about Clone Wars, Clone Wars, Clone Wars. I thought they were still doing the same two-dimensional thing. And it wasn't until it came out on Netflix and I was like, oh, I was like, this is different. But I started watching it and I was like, God, I hate that. I hate the way that Anakin looks. I just hate it. And because of that, literally just because of the style of animation, it wasn't that it was bad. It's just that everything else that was that style of animation was bad. So it wasn't until I started watching it that I was like, no, this is just a choice of
style
design. Yeah, it's just a design choice. And so once I found that we had the whole list organized with the different episodes, I'd already started watching 3 seasons just as they released. But when I went back and watched it with that's when I realized, like, holy cow, this is like the untold stories of Star Wars. You got to know this stuff. You got to. It's not like Indiana Jones in the main movies and then the Young Indiana Jones series. It's like, no, you don't need to watch the Young Indiana Jones series to understand the whole story. I guess no one else is relating to me. Damn.
I've seen a couple episodes of Young Indy.
They're so bad. Like the Eye of the Peacock, and there's a few of them. They're not good, and it's not River Phoenix. So get out of here. But
they're supposed to be educational.
They are. Well, one of them had some weird, creepy, like rat dude, and he looked like Nosferatu. I don't know how educational that was. But yeah. Anyways, bad reference. Sorry, everybody. But the Clone Wars was definitely something that it's not a lesser of anything. It's right on, it's right on for all of Star Wars. If you're, trying to get the whole story, you need to know this stuff. Or if you don't want to know it, then you just won't know about that era. That's it. That's basically it. There's no other.
Just go on Wikipedia and start Googling.
I just love how they're just being like, no, you're just gonna have to know this if you want to keep up. So, I mean, Solo referenced it with Darth Maul at the end. They're pulling obscure characters from it. You know, Ahsoka's getting her own show. It's just like, no, you just need to know this stuff.
Yeah.
Keep up.
I really like how they're just leaning into it. Like you have Star Trek that really like they're like, ooh, well, we don't really want to reference these other shows from 20 years ago because we might alienate some people. And then Star Wars was like, hey, you remember that episode of Clone Wars from 2009? Well, you need to remember every detail. And they just don't care, and I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yep. What more could you ask for?
Longer episodes. More
there
than...
we go. Seriously. We won't.
3 a week. Come on, let's do it. Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
3 a week. Jesus.
Star Wars Episode 10. When?
I don't even think half of us have seen the newest episode that premiered yesterday. Oh, wait, no, today.
Today as we're recording it, yes.
Today, yeah. I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh, ouch. Is that where you decided to get your vaccine shot, your second one?
Well, that's where I put the tip of the knife through my hand.
Oh,
working on the compass.
Yeah, that's the story of my life, dude. I don't know if you can see that. It's not.
I just see your hand.
Yeah,
yes. I see your fingers don't match.
Hey guys, look, I got 5 fingers. Hey, you can kind of see it.
There's like some kind of anti-Spock thing going on.
Oh. Yeah, I'm always cutting my hands. It hurts all the time. My hands always sting. Yeah, that's
your gloves are a thing that exists.
So no, I can't wear gloves where I work. I can't get
They even make gloves that you can't cut. They're literally made of metal.
Yeah, but it's not. I can't use it in the laboratory. It's not safe. It's not safe. The problem is if you
metal, rubber, good.
Metal, rubber, gets sucked into a machine. Your hands into machine. Your body into machine. Not good. I see it like every day.
That's a different story.
Yeah, no, but yes, it is a different story.
You should put on some line workers gloves. We had some. We bought a pair of line workers gloves to do some testing at work. Those you can move your fingers about this much.
What are line
workers? They're so thick. So like the guys who work up on electrical lines, they wear a pair of they wear like leather working gloves, and then they wear these like humongous rubber gloves over top of them. Actually, you're supposed to wear another glove underneath the leather glove, so you have like glove, and it's just you just can't do anything.
God, you guys, no. I literally have to set teeth. Okay, I can't be wearing freaking giant rubber Mr. Krabs glove.
Gunner's an anti-glover.
Yeah, I am, and that's funny because as a kid, I loved wearing gloves. It was like a weird thing that I did. My mom was like, when you were like 5 years old, when I was like 5 years old, I had to wear gloves everywhere. I think I watched, I'm pretty sure I watched Indiana Jones and he had on some leather gloves and I was like, I gotta have gloves.
My brother was the same way, but with tape. It was weird.
Oh, we got something flying in frame here.
Oh.
I painted that.
Was that a remote?
Nice.
Evan?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not nearly as cool as the model that Wayne's got there. He's got an X-Wing.
Yeah, I went ahead and
you
put
painted
it on
that?
the base. Yeah.
The weathering looks awesome.
Thank you.
Did you chip the paint after you painted it, or did you put something underneath it?
I taped it off, painted it, then I took the paint off or tape off and touched it up with white around.
Gotcha. Bring that back. What you got there, Paul? Oh, sorry, Wayne.
I got a new toy to play with.
So is that just another vacuum formed helmet?
No.
Vacuum formed kit.
It's a white Darth Vader. Wow. Whoa, Paul and Wayne just switched.
I'm confused. What is that?
That is a box full of armor.
But what for what?
TK.
For a new sand trooper.
A new one.
Yes, I'm going to replace my Sand Trooper because that kit is coming up on 13 years old, and I have tried to retire it 3 times already.
Wow. Is it wearable?
Technically, yes, but the heel broke off the shoe, so it's full of shoe goo to get the heel back on there. It's just an old kit. The helmet's starting to crack. It just needs to be replaced.
Right.
You know, it will make a very cool display piece when I figure out where to display it.
Ah.
Yeah. So I'm. There was a sale from the guy who runs Trooper Bay. He was running a sale, and so I was like, "Oh, I have got some stimulus money. I'm going to spend it. I'm going to stimulate the economy."
Do it. Stimulate those armorers.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is going to be my project for the next few weeks as Rex finishes up because we started working on the strapping for Rex.
Oh my
God!
It is the biggest pain in the butt. Oh my goodness.
The belt that my thighs will hang off of, and we went ahead and made 2, one for my Sand Trooper as well.
I would love to know how you end up doing your shoulder bell.
We are going to make a kind of a dicky. It's going to sit on my shoulders, and it's going to have connection points here for the straps that come up and connect.
I think I need to do the same thing.
Because on my Stormtrooper, I have the arms basically hang off of a suspender that goes right
That's
here.
what I have now, and it's not working too well.
But the way the clone kit is set up, there's a suspenders, but it's holding my midsection up, so I can't attach anything to it. And the chest, front, and back there's no strapping running back and forth. It's a piece of rubber, basically. There's not anything I can connect a strap to. So we're going to make a dicky that's going to sit here. My shoulder bells are going to connect to it, and then the arms will hang off of that.
Sweet. Yeah, I need to do something. Right now, I just have straps. So, like, the problem is the straps, I've got them, like, the undershirt I've got them secured to it, but they still slide around on my shoulders. So I've got to do something a little bit more permanent. But,
yeah.
I might look at whatever you guys or what you come up with, and I might copy you.
When we get it working, I'll show you.
Yeah. Yep. Sounds good.
Because we still got to make that. We still got to make the comma, and I've got to do all the strapping.
Right.
And then Rex will be done.
Suspenders, where do you have them? What are they holding?
The suspenders are holding up
Gunners.
Gunner.
Do what now?
Your suspenders, what are they holding?
So, they're not necessarily suspenders, but they're holding up. It's basically like it's hard to explain. I have 2 straps that go around my back and come down my arms, and they hook on to my bicep pieces. They have Velcro on there, and then I have Velcro on that strap, and I put the bells on the strap. So they're not necessarily suspenders, but they are, instead of going over my shoulders, they go down my shoulders. And
what is it connected to at the bottom? So it's got the shoulder bell on one side. What's on the other side?
What do you mean? It just goes from here all the way across my back like that. It's just
what's holding it?
He's got one strap holding the whole thing.
Yep.
He's got one strap just coming across and then going over to the other.
Okay.
I see what he's saying.
Yep. And then in my undershirt, I've made 2 loops that the straps go through so that they stay, in line with my arms. But the problem is, because they're 2 straps, the strap will just slip and slide over my shoulder instead of stay put. So if I do the dicky thing, it won't go nowhere.
What's holding your midsection and thighs up? I know it's not your body.
No, you can't really hang armor on a rail, can you? I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I know the actual abs sit in place. the only suspenders I have is a belt. I only have a belt that holds my thigh pieces up because the diaper
You
piece.
should get a set of stretchy suspenders. Hook the one on the back of the belt, bring them around, crisscross them in the front so that if it's pulling across from here, and just put a snap right there on the suspenders and hook your arm into that.
We need to do an armor party. For real.
Almost like we're doing one next week.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I can make it. But wait.
Sunday. What are you doing? Going to church? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm going straight to hell. Thanks a lot. No, but I that's probably gonna be what I have to do. Actually, I guess I'm gonna have to make it to that armor party.
You know what you could do while we're there? You could film some, and then we could show it here.
That would be good.
Or at least under the heading of this.
That's true. We should. I need to. All right, we'll do that. We'll make plans to do that. It's next Sunday, and where? Where was it at?
John. It's at John's house.
Where does John live?
I'll send you the. I've got it. I'll send it.
No, I just meant like.
Saying that out loud for everybody.
Yeah, I want his actual mailbox address, please, and his phone number, and if you have his social.
Oh, let me get that for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever used?
But does he live in Roanoke? Because all I'm asking.
No, he doesn't live in Roanoke.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Yeah, so he's somewhere else.
He's at 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
I do have his social here.
Avenue.
157.
Hold on, I was given his credit card number. Give me a second.
Now, the last 4 digits of his social, actually the last 4 of his debit card, too. So it's kind of fun how that works out.
It's weird.
Everybody knows his information. I'm the only one that doesn't have this, so just...
and his date of birth is his PIN code.
There we go. Thank you, John, for all your information. We appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone else does, too.
I thank you every time I get on my boat.
Yeah. I don't know what that... I don't get it. Okay. All right. Well,
because I stole his identity.
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. I am not.
That's just so much funnier when you have to explain them.
Yeah, it is sometimes. But not really. So I guess that's all we got for this evening, guys.
Yes.
So let's wrap it up. Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
I think you guys can hear it. You're rocking out. So
yeah.
That means it's the end of the episode. So if anyone's still listening, you can go online and check us out on the 501st.com. Oh wow, look at this, man. We got some crazy like Prince action here. It looks like one of Prince's guitars. Got a comp pad. Got the TK, got the dreads. If you check us out, if you want to check us out, you can find us on YouTube for the visual experience that you would not want to miss, especially what we got going on now. Also, you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. If you want to check out the Instagram Garrison photos posted of like the approval costumes and stuff. It's on Garrison Tyrannus on Instagram. So check us out, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Support Evan and his new band. Get out there. And
the Riflers.
The Riflers, that's right. The yeah, good stuff. Wow, he's got blisters.
He's trying to get you to join. He's going to call it the Gunners.
And one of these days we're going to be in the studio, so looking forward to that. So yep, there it is. It's coming together. All right. Well, until next time, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.